When to water change an aquarium? The answer is simple, really. And don't worry, I'm not gonna give you the "it depends" answer like every other video that you search for today. If you're new to this channel, you're gonna quickly realize that I like to get straight to the point. So the simple, non-complicated answer is you should water change your aquarium anytime that you reach about 40 parts per million of nitrates, give or take. That's it, really. No need to complicate things unless you want to. Like you guys that say you never reach 40 parts per million of nitrates in your tank. Don't worry, I'll get to you guys in a bit. Stick around. So why is it that simple? Well, if you understand the nitrogen cycle, then you understand that nitrates are the final step in the cycle, and nitrates are very harmful to our fish, and we as fish keepers are supposed to remove those nitrates by way of water change. If you don't understand any of that, then make sure you check this video out right here. Now, there are many factors that determine how fast your nitrate levels rise, and that's where this "it depends" things come from, because it does depend on many factors like tank size, fish species, fish quantity, cleaning schedule. What am I missing? Feeding type of food, feeding quantity of food, feeding frequency of food, feeding of food. Yeah, I think you feed food. How often you vacuum your tank? Do you have live plants in your tank? How efficient is your filtration system? I can go on and on, obviously. Yes, depending on all these things will determine how fast your nitrate levels rise. But the bottom line is the same. Whenever it is for your tank that you get to 40 parts per million, that's when you should do a water change. Whether you get there in 1 week, then do weekly water changes. Or maybe you get there before a week, consider doing bigger water changes. In this overstocked 210-gallon African cichlid tank, my nitrates reach about 40 to 80 parts per million in about a week. So I do 80% weekly water changes. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out there and do 80% water changes right off the bat. You need to gradually get there slowly if your fish are not used to that yet. If you want to watch how I do my 80% water changes, check that video out right there. I think you'll enjoy it. And if you don't get to 40 parts per million in a couple of weeks, then do your water changes every couple of weeks. It's not that complicated, guys. I know in this hobby, sometimes we like to overthink things, and trust me, I'm not only a member of that club, I could be the president. Now, I say 40 parts per million because that's the general consensus in the hobby. But like I said, this tank right here gets anywhere from 40 to 80 parts per million every single week, and all my fish always have vibrant colors, there's no stress at all in the tank, and they continue to grow every day, those that aren't at max size already. As of filming this, today is Thursday, and my usual water change day is somewhere around Saturday, sometimes Sunday, depending on how I feel. But we're still at least 2 days away from water change, and I'm gonna show you my nitrate levels right now. Of course, they think they're gonna get fed, like always. Yes, this is how you have to shake these nitrate bottles. Okay, pretty yellow still, right? But we all know we gotta give it some time. Not ready yet. Here it is, darkening up already. Can you guys see the color changing as I shake it? Okay, I gave that a shake for about a minute. We're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes and see the final color. But as you can see, it's already getting dark. Let me know in the comments below how high your nitrates get before your water change. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Let's check these results out. Let me try to focus on the bottle here. There you go. Now, if you can see, guys, it's definitely already at 40 parts per million. Somewhere between 40 and 80, like I said. And today's Thursday. So I got at least 2 more days until a water change. And like I said, my guys are over there doing great. So don't worry about it. If you got big adult fish that are used to nitrates getting around this level, it's not gonna do that much harm. Now, with all that being said, nitrates are not the only reason for doing water changes. Psst, cue you guys that never reach 40 parts per million. This part's for you. This part should be interesting. But before we get into it, if you've been enjoying this video, finding it helpful or entertaining, make sure to hit that like button. Do you know what will happen every time you hit that like button? It tells YouTube that you like the video so that YouTube shows you similar videos that you may like as well. In case you didn't know, your tank water contains many nutrients and minerals that your fish need to thrive. Minerals like magnesium, calcium, and many others that will eventually deplete both from the fish and from the tank. And the only way to replace these minerals is by doing a water change. Yeah, there are products out there that can add these minerals back into your tank water. I use Cichlid Trace religiously and I love it. But in my opinion, these products do not compete with a good old-fashioned, fresh and clean, beautiful water change. If you keep African cichlids where nitrate levels are usually kind of high, like I just showed you in my tank, not only will those high nitrate levels eventually be bad for your fish, but those levels can also cause changes in your tank's chemistry, which can be detrimental to your fish as well. You see, these minerals that are in your tank water actually buffer your water and keep your pH at a stable level. Well, nitrates are acidic, and as they rise in your tank, that acid is fighting against your buffer, which is what depletes those minerals. That's why I said the fish deplete the minerals, but your tank depletes the minerals as well. Well, once all these minerals are gone, that buffer that's fighting the nitrate, now all of a sudden your pH levels can drop. So in other words, high nitrates can eventually lead to lower pH. And if you keep African cichlids, all of us know that we fight to maintain a high stable pH for African cichlids, so this cannot be good. If you didn't know that, or you're new to keeping African cichlids, I put together a very helpful online video course with everything that you need to know about keeping and raising your own African cichlids. But I know what it's like to jump right in and buy a complete course right away, so I also put together a free webinar training that you could check out first, both to get a feel of what it would be like to keep African cichlids and get a feel for how the course style is going to be. So make sure you check that out. It's free. Put a link up here and it'll be in the description below. On another note, regardless of what type of fish you keep, if your pH drops too low, you might crash your tank, which can cause an ammonia spike, which will kill all your fish. You see, in this beautiful glass box that we keep our wet pets in, everything needs to be balanced. It's all cause and effect in there. So one thing can easily lead to another. We have to keep everything stable and in check. On the other side of things, there are those of us that have tank setups that are capable of keeping nitrates nice and low, like heavily planted tanks, or tanks with aquaponic systems, or low stocking level tanks. Now, for you guys, I would still recommend that you do water changes every 2 to 4 weeks. Not because of nitrates. Nitrates aren't going to be an issue in tanks like those, but because you still need to replace these essential minerals that your fish and your tank need. When you've settled in with your tank, got it dialed in, figured out a good maintenance schedule, whatever it is, whether you do weekly water changes with monthly filter cleanings or monthly water changes with only 2 filter cleanings a year, whatever that system is, if it's working for you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Continue what you're doing, keeping your fish happy and healthy. But, and this is a big but, if you have fish dying on you occasionally and you can't pinpoint it to an exact reason, like aggression from another fish, bullying going on in your tank, then it's most likely your water parameters, which coincides with your maintenance. And if this is the case, you need to do a couple of tweaks to figure out what's going on in your tank to get things back to copacetic. If this sounds like you, this playlist is going to be perfect for you, helping you to understand the hobby more and getting things back under control. Or check out this video right here that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See ya on the other side.